something built?
Okay. Game 2 of the series. OMGPOP defending king taking on challenger Muckasheen. Muckasheen playing as Soviets this game in the west of Simoski Winter, and OMGPOP playing as Oberkommando West on the right side. Again, don't really know what the changes were to this map. I really have no idea what they changed. But yeah, I don't know. It's a mystery, I guess. Someone's gonna have, maybe the devs will announce some more specifics at some point, because I personally haven't really spotted anything different. You must need a very careful eye.
Fresh conscripts have arrived.
OMGPOP going to be going with the Kuba wagon opening as he always does, even on this map. His opponent going to be building a conscript fighting position here on this cutoff. Combat engineers making their way towards the south. We've also got a tier 2 opening from him. Might see a Maxim, which should provide a little bit of protection against that SWS. SWS definitely very slow now. I think OMGPOP might be letting this put itself in a kind of vulnerable positions now that it's not very, doesn't have nearly as much armor. Look how much damage it took just from that one volley from conscripts. No armor, super sluggish. Definitely seems like a risky move to let that thing get too close to infantry. We saw already against Red Wings how many of these things got popped by his scout car and penal battalions. So it's gonna need to be careful with this SWS. Knocking over some random stuff here in the central village, slowly. Couple squads building cover here in the center as well. Combat engineers running away there in the south. Kuba wagon going to engage the conscript squad in that general area. Just continuing to do damage to them in the building. Man, look how little armor that has. It's practically dead just being shot at it at like long range by conscripts. That armor buff is crazy. He's gonna die if it doesn't run away like right now. I think Pop needs to be a little more careful with this thing. I don't think it's gonna get, there it goes. I think he's gonna have to retrain himself a little bit on how to keep his SWS half-track alive, because it just dies to conscripts so quick. Need to be very careful with that thing.
We are losing territory.
Conscripts are going to be forced to retreat despite the loss of his SWS delaying his tech. Muckasheen has almost no map control. Volksgrenadiers taking control of everything down here in the south. They're going to throw up some cover. And OMGPOP is going to control both fuel points, taking control of the central village, controls this cutoff. Muckasheen being pushed all the way back into his base. Got himself these early AT grenades for anti-Kubel, which is a bit of a manpower setback, going to delay his 4th squad of infantry. Meanwhile, OMGPOP has not only 4 squads of infantry and skirms, and he also has a Kuba wagon on the field, so Muckasheen is a little behind. He spent a bunch of manpower on the tier 2 structure, a bunch of manpower on AT grenades, and he doesn't have nearly the same amount of forces that his opponent does on the field right now. And a little too early on the upgrades, I think. He's going to have to make something happen against that Kuba wagon to level the playing field if he wants to get back into this game.
We have an isolated sector. 120mm mortars are now available for deployment. Guard rifle infantry squads can now be called to fight for the motherland.
not looking good. He needs to stop charging his infantry straight into a Kuba wagon and Volksgrenadiers and Sturm Pioneers standing in cover. That is not a position that he can assault, at least not without Molotovs. Decides to go with guard motor coordination, fields himself a squad of guard rifles. I mean, I guess they're a little better, got a small PTRS buff, but I don't think they're going to be taking this on anytime soon. I certainly hope Muckasheen does not plan on making a frontal assault on this position. He really needs to flank and just go take territory elsewhere on the map. One squad of Volksgrenadiers is defending here in the south. The Kuba wagon is already getting the sense that his opponent is going somewhere else. He would have been here by now. Kuba wagon's just going to move, wait for his opponent to reveal himself somewhere else. Set up here in the central village. Conscript Blob is about to cross this lake. Probably all going to get suppressed by that Kuba wagon and forced to retreat again. Two squads suppressed, Kuba wagon firing on the blob, and these three squads are going to reposition to assist in the engagement and shut this charge down immediately, and both munition points flanks are now being taken by spare squads of Volksgrenadiers. And we're going to see him forced to make a full retreat again. These two squads trying to reposition to a more safe location. They're not going to be able to do anything though. Immediately retreating. And now the Kuba wagon is doing stunt maneuvers on the ice. That was a beautiful drift. Did you guys see that drift? Glorious. Very nicely executed. And OMGPOP will maintain complete and total control of the map. No sign of the situation changing for the Soviet player, who just dropped more manpower on a field infirmary. Already this behind. Spending all that manpower on upgrades is just so hard to justify. Battle group headquarters going up here in a very aggressive location. But OMGPOP seems to be well equipped to defend this. Muckasheen just doesn't have any territory at all. Just fielded a heavy mortar. It's basically gonna need this to get like 6 squad wipes in a row just to stand a chance this game. OMGPOP floating 800 manpower, 185 fuel. He's chosen Spec Ops. Losing his SWS truck isn't even really a setback. He can tech to Panzerschrecks now. Ooh, that was a nice opening mortar hit though. Grenade toss. Ooh, another nice mortar hit. And finally, Muckasheen shows some sign of breaking his containment, taking control of the strategic point right here. Guards engaging the Volksgrenadiers in the house. Conscripts trying to take control of the strategic cutoff point. The mortar needs to stop its barrage of the strategic point, reposition, and start firing on this position. Forward retreat point is unlocking here. Kuba wagon is destroyed right there by guard rifles, showing off their fancy PTRS buff. Molotov tossed in the building to flush out Volksgrenadiers right there. They're going to reinforce right there by the battle group headquarters. The heavy mortar needs to reposition to a much more aggressive location. so that it can fire on that battle group headquarters just sitting there in the Soviet base. Squad has moved down here to the south. Missed the capture circle though. Squad of conscripts looks like it might get wiped. Barely gets away. Infiltration grenades being tossed. Guards look like they will dodge it, but they're going to lose the engagement regardless. And there they go. And while we saw a brief glimmer of hope for the Soviets, things have basically returned to him being stuck in his base and holding no territory once again. Although this combat engineer squad might soon be motivated to take control of that strategic point there in the south. If they feel like it, I mean. No hurry.
Okay, that's the last one.
That strategic point probably wasn't going to change the outcome of the game all that much anyway. But Volksgrenadiers are on their way to counter just to be safe. These two squads set up in green cover here. Ooh, heavy mortar pounding away at the battle group headquarters. Again, this thing is really his only hope. This mortar actually got changed a little bit this patch. It should spread its damage a little bit more consistently throughout a squad. Do a little bit more damage at distance and a little less damage at short. So it should be better at softening up these formations, and we should see fewer wipes. And I think we are kind of seeing that already. I don't think a single squad's been wiped by that heavy mortar. No lucky hits have wiped a squad. It's generally just bleeding his opponent's manpower. Every time one of those mortars connects, couple Volksgrenadiers dropped, manpower bleed, but nothing OMGPOP can't handle. 900 manpower in the bank right now, really no big deal at all. A field gun just got produced. More manpower being spent on things that just can't even counter Volksgrenadiers. You just can't even get through 5 squads of Volksgrenadiers.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands. The enemy has killed. A sector has been cut off. Enemy contact.
Tier 4 going up here to protect against any squads that may attempt to cross the river in this area. It's extraordinarily... Look how bad that placement is, by the way. You have to be hugely in the lead to be able to justify that placement. All it takes is a field gun sitting like here to destroy this. He must feel incredibly confident. I mean, of course he does. He's triple capped his opponent for the entire game. Just has him completely base locked. Heavy mortar, not really accomplishing all that much. His opponent's economy has barely even taken a hit. He's got 7 kills, moderately impressive, but OMGPOP just queued up 2 Panzer IIs to try and seal the game.
Mortar team reports ready for combat. We are ready to go, comrades.
Heavy mortar continues to bombard this area, and OMGPOP has actually cancelled his
Continue the push.
2nd Panzer II and is fielding a Sturm Tiger,
Indirect fire. Displace.
making its way to the front line. And with a 2nd heavy mortar on the field, it actually looks like he's going to destroy this. OMGPOP is not even going to bother to repair it. because if his Stern Pioneers get wiped in the attempt, that's more expensive than just rebuilding the structure. Well, actually not really, because this one does have the retreat point unlocked, but it probably doesn't even matter if this is destroyed at this point. A Panzer II plus Sturmtiger will probably be more than sufficient to end the game. Not to mention, with only 63 victory points remaining, it may not even matter if OMGPOP just goes AFK right now. Probably just go AFK and wait for the victory points to run out. Since the Soviet player doesn't seem to have even the slightest chance of getting a victory point back under his control anytime in the foreseeable future.
Alert! Enemy infantry! Contact! Small arms fire! Stuck tank ready for battle. They have 25 points remaining. Victory is at hand. Heavy machine gun from Austin! Receiving blanket! Orders complete.
Pop firing. On the field gun, that's about to get decrewed. Pop doesn't seem to mind that much, overextending his light vehicle straight into his opponent's base, where they'll probably die to anti-tank grenade fire because he's out of time. And just stall his opponent, and there it is. Victory point timer has run out. GG. OMGPOP will continue to be the king.